how would I word this? How much chaos have you seen during let's just call it the last 2 years? Not today, because we had too much chaos today, but how much chaos over the last 2 years have you seen? What has that taught you about real leadership? Mm-hmm. And then how should people externally, how should they analyze chaos in life?
Generally speaking, what I would say is the stuff that has been established and ordered is pretty ordered. We have a predictable way of doing a lot of stuff. But as there's a growth edge to everything that you're doing and everything that we do as a company, as an outflow of that, that means there's always something that's in disorder. There's always something that is new, and it's basically a daily process on my part to try to figure out how to begin to put some type of order and systemization into something that we've never done before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so in the moments of that, so for all the leaders out there, let's call them the integrators out there, right? If you're looking at EOS, number one visionary like me, it's pretty much, I've settled it at 53 that I dig chaos, right? Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, you and Katia were out, and I was trying to close 2 or 3 deals in like 2 days because we had holidays. And I think I texted you or something, and you were like, oh, my God, this guy just texted us at 11 o'clock, want to close the day. And I said, man, I dig this right here. This is where I get my thrills at. But you've seen it in me as a visionary leader that I if we get too settled, I'm going to throw some wood on the fire or something, because I just don't, it makes me feel like there's a problem. So if there are integrators out there, I want you to hear from John's perspective, because if you're going to be an adaptable leader, I think that's really what I want people to get. If you're going to be an adaptable leader, being a chaotic visionary, I dig the chaos.
Yep.
Being an organized, systemic, a system creator, you're trying to fix the chaos. How do you balance the nuances of those? Especially now after you've been here for a little bit, you go, well, this is just perpetuation. It's never going to end.
It's not going to end. No. Well, first, you have to pretend there's a little chaos so you don't come in and mess something up. No, we come in and be like, man, you ain't gonna believe this. No, but in reality, this is something that I've had to deal with for a long time, because I've typically been in a second position. I've seldom been in the out front leadership role, and early on, to be honest, you get your ego in the way and everything. I was like, no, I want to be the first chair. And I would always get frustrated with the out front leader, because it seemed like disorder and chaos and disorganization always followed that person. I'm like, but if I was in the seat. So I read a book years ago by Peter Drucker called Leadership and Management. Mm-hmm. And he defined it to 2 separate gifts. And reading that book really helped me understand me. You're talking about understanding you in the role. And I'm like, whoa, that's not my chair. That's not my gifting. That's not the grace that's on my life. The further I went into it, I realized, and I had a couple of guys that were close, that we were in church leadership, and they were in our congregation. They were 2 brothers, and they were polar opposites.
Yeah. Yeah.
One's an out front guy. And what I watched, and I sat down with the 2 of them, and I said, look, here's what's going to happen. If you guys don't cooperate, if either one of you run this business by yourself, your brother is going to tell everybody, oh yeah, we'll get to you. We'll do that. And he will sell everyone just this hope and this hype about what your company can deliver, and nobody's going to get any service.
Yeah.
If you run the company by yourself, what's going to happen is it's going to be the most polished machine, and everything will be in order, but nobody will even know that you exist.
Yeah, you only have 3 clients. Yeah.
So what I realized, I began to see that in my world, and I've seen it from that point forward, and I see it here. If you don't have an appreciation for and an honor for the grace, then we wouldn't be where we are if you didn't bulldoze a new territory.
That's true.
And my hope is that we can, whatever ground we take, I can help us sustain that and put that in order. And I'm always going to be frustrated with you. Just like there are days you're like, man, you make me want to vomit and some of the stuff. Because like yesterday we were talking, you're like, without all the detail.
Just ask me the question real quick.
Can you explain your reason without giving me all the detail? And I just laugh because I'm like, I don't know that I can. But that's the difference of the nuance. And if we don't... That's how I've had to walk it out, because I've had to get okay with being me, and then I've had to get okay with you being you.
Yeah,
and it took me a while.
And for all the business leaders out there who are functioning like this, it is a grace. Mm-hmm. Like, I have absolutely zero grace to manage. Zero. I'm a bulldozer. I'm looking for a forest to cut a pathway through every day of my life.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I care about. If everything goes good, I really don't want to hear about it. Honest to God, I'm just, that's why I love making deals.
You know what I've noticed about you, because you're so focused on growth, it really isn't. There's an investing piece in there too, but you're so focused on growth that it becomes an indicator to you that we must not be growing.
Yep.
If something's not broken, we must not be growing.
Yeah, it's probably an internal clicking. Like, where's the growth? What's the problem?
Yeah.
And I think I told Troy, one of our supers, I said, just send me progress pictures. I don't even care what it is. Just show me anything that's happening, because I thrive on progress.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of age, right, to get used to your grace and the gift that you are. But I'm a chaos creator. I absolutely love and dig it. When I teach and preach, or whatever you want to call those things, I'm trying to instigate a fury inside of you, so that you go, by God, I can't stay the same. That's how I am. That's because that's really what's going on inside of me. I want to be instigated toward chaos, because I think that's just part of my life and who I am. So for all the business owners out there, I think to start, like I started, and I had to have the wild, audacious stuff. And then I realized over the years, as I've gone and grown, that I can be wild, but we can't.
Yeah.
We can, but we're just not going to be as effective as we should have been, and as we need to be. And if you want to grow exponentially, there has to be order that's formed behind the chaotic leader. Somebody's got to steward it. Somebody's got to be able to steward the mess that chaos creator makes. Somebody's got to be able to bring that into some kind of structure and steward it. You can't just go kick over a country and go, here we are, and not have a systemic order that you're trying to put in place. And so for all those really good managers out there, right, who have tied their future to their ego and are going, I've got to do, I know one right now. I got to do this for my family. I can't be wealthy unless I build something my own self.
Wow.
But they don't have that wild, chaotic nature that it takes to build something from the ground. Just really, it's bullheadedness, if I'm being honest. It's like, you punch me in the face and knock me down. Well, we just started now. It's not over. Now I'm actually ready to fight. How would you talk to that guy who's got the grace that you have, or gal that has the grace that you have, but in the mind they're going, I got to be the first chair or I'm nothing at all? Mm-hmm. How does that break off of their life for them to be okay with who they are? Because that's the only place real success exists.
Well, honestly, I think there has to be humility but if it's not there, there's only two ways that comes. It either comes through an honest evaluation, maybe through an outside hand and a coach, or it comes through life just punching you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a thing that we did before. Proverbs says there's three people. There's the simple, there's the fool, and then there's the mocker. And the simple is just ignorant. This is the first time I've done it, and they make a mess of stuff because they don't know any better. But they can be teachable. They might not be teachable, but they're just inexperienced. The fool is the one that will not receive instruction, and the only way that they learn is through hardship. And I've seen both, and I think what I know it is for me, because this is what I've become aware of, is that it's an ego issue. It is an issue of, I want to hold everything close to my chest. I don't want to be examined because I've got a pride or insecurity, which insecurity is just pride. I've got pride that I don't want to let anybody see, and I want to be seen as this guy. Well, if you can't allow somebody to speak into that and reveal that that's just an ego thing and help you get in the right chair, then the only other option is you're just going to bang your head against the door. But for you, it's the inspiration. For them, it's going to be a breaking. It's not going to break them forever, but they're going to have a breakdown and finally have a realization that this is just not for me. So for me, I would just say the best thing, the shortcut, the acceleration that we were talking about in the other episode, is to find somebody like you or someone else to say, you're not good at that. Let's just be honest. That's not your grace. And if you'll get in this space, because I'm watching my life elevated because I'm in the right space with the right people. I could not do this by myself. But because I got into the right space with the right people, I was humble. I was like, okay, let me just be in my lane, in my chair, and do what I can do. There's a massive acceleration, is what's happening in our life, and we're growing rapidly. But so for him, allow an outside hand or expect adversity.
One or the other. And for me as well, like, as I've grown, building a format of chaos where I'm just going I'm a wild out on it until I find some rhythm and it works. It's really good to start. I'm really good at starting something. I can frame something up and identify the KPI. Just all of that stuff is easy for me. But the maintaining stewardship of that becomes hard for me. So then I realize it's not my grace. I have to have a John in my life, or the great seeds that I could reproduce are going to be lost. Because there are 4 types of grounds, right? You remember Jesus teaching that. There's this, and this. I want to be in the 100-fold production model. And I've realized that my greatest success is being authentically me. And one of the things that I've done over my years, John, is, and you have as well, I have said, I'm going to do what's in front of me to do. And God, if you want to take me to the moon, then that's on you. That's not going to be on me. I'm going to do this right here. And if this is as far as I go, I'm going to be the happiest person the world's ever seen doing what's right here in front of me. And if you take me to the stars, then I'm going to be the happiest all along the way. But I'm just going to be me from here to there. Yeah. And I think that is the key to real, number one, revelation, but number 2, great success, right? I think it's settling into that space of what's on my hand to do, what's in front of me to do. Moses, what's in your hand? Just use that right there and shut up. Just do what's in front of you to do and shut your mouth. That's the piece. And if like I coach a lot of people, so if you can grab that piece, right? I'm thinking about this one coaching client right now, John, and he had 35 things that he did, and he made a little bit of money here and a little bit of money here. Then we looked, and 80% of his money was coming from this. And I said, well, why don't you just do this right here? I think you're pretty good at this. Why don't you just do this? And so we went through it, and I said, and we did the whole synopsis, and we doubled his income by just increasing this 20%. It wasn't this magnificent increase. It was just 20% increase. I said, can you do this over 12 months? Can you do 2 more deals in 12 months if this is your sole focus? And he goes, oh, of course I could. Okay, well, then that doubles your income just by doing that right there. So I think it's that thing where you settle your soul enough to go, God, I'm going to be me. And if you want to expand my grace, then you do that. I'm out on the expansion thing. I'm just going to sit in this garden, and I'm going to fill every wall of this garden up. And if you increase my gates, if you enlarge my tent stakes, then you enlarge them. But I'm going to fill this bad boy up. That, to me, is the essence of being okay with you, no matter what. And
Yeah.
and that's when you, to me, that's when I detached ego from my existence and the validation of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I gave, and you did as well, I gave God all my quote unquote gifts. I said, you deal with them how you need to. I'm gonna stay in this little pea patch right here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guard this pea patch. I'm gonna maintain this garden, and then you do with it as you see fit. So that's how I've done mine as well.
That's good.
And I think everybody needs to hear that, where you get an understanding of greatness is compounding. It's not a one-time hit. It's not a grand slam home run. It compounds. It compounds. 1 + 1 = 2. And then 2 + 2 = 4. It compounds. And if you'll trust that process, get a great outside hand in your life, have a great coach that can narrow the margins for you and go, I don't think you're really good at the chaos, John, but you're really great at the stewardship model. And if you can have that, I think your life can exponentially grow. And I think it exponentially grows faster than you would have imagined.
100%.
And way faster than what you could have done with your own strength in your own hands.
100%.
So take that, click the link. I'd love to see you in one of our events. Love to help you with your personal journey or your business journey. Click the link. We'll see you soon.